Please answer to the roll. Deborah Lehman, Leroy Blake, Isaiah White, Steve Rolando. Why is Mary Jones on there?
We have fixed it 5 times.
Oh, Bob Wright, Brooks McGugan, Jackie Stanley, here, Carolyn Durham, here, and I'm here. Is that all 9? No, sure. Did I miss anybody? Okay. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting, March 11th, please? Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion passed. Any public comments? Chief's report?
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday to you. The weather's nice. We survived the eclipse, which was nice, which was actually kind of cool. Chief McCullough had these special binoculars where you could see it really cool. It's kind of nice. Anyway, I've got plenty of good news to share with you, and really highlights the work that our people are doing as well too. So this is the 6th year that we've received the designation of Fire Safe South Carolina. So what that is a program that's put on by the state where it has community risk reduction and fire prevention benchmarks as well too. And you have to hit all these benchmarks in order to receive that designation. So for the 6th straight year, we've received that Fire Safe South Carolina designation, which is good work done by our Fire Marshal Division on that. So last week we had a fire on Kingslash Road, and we're pretty familiar with this property. There's been a few fires there over the year, but engine 1, which was Captain Mason Underwood, firefighter Connor Finn, and engineer Dawson Williams, who was pumping the rig, arrived on scene. They went inside, made an aggressive interior attack, and in that process, heard somebody calling out for help in a back bedroom, and were able to pull that person out. That person was transported by Charleston County EMS in an unknown condition, but definitely alive. So great work by Engine 1 on that call. So wanted to inform you about some kind of larger organizational changes that are coming up as well. I did provide you with a new org chart that's just for your reference to kind of look at and kind of who falls where and everything like that. And you can kind of see some rearranging we do. So I came to y'all a little while back about adding a third assistant chief position, which we call professional standards, which would be kind of a higher level training position as well too, and make sure that we're kind of staying on our path to excellence and continuous improvement as well too. And that role will be filled by Battalion Chief Brian Yunker. We're also welcoming an external hire from Lexington County. His name is Nathan Prouse. He'll be starting with us on April 22nd, I believe, a couple of weeks. He stopped in here this morning, but Chief Prouse has a impressive resume and is well respected in the Columbia area as well. So we'll look forward to welcoming him to our ranks. And then we've reorganized some duties, and I'm pleased to have Chief Whaley, who will be overseeing our support services, which we've now kind of rolled into fleet and facilities, equipment, PPE, fire marshal, making sure our apparatus are ready for duty as well. And looking forward to the new building that has an office and everything and space as well too. Very happy for that. And I think Chief Whaley is going to be happy with that as well too. But that is kind of our reorganization efforts right now as well. And looking forward to the future of St. John's with those positions as well. So we had EMT basic class is finished. We'll finish next week, and then advanced EMT class finishes up in May, and then we turn right around and kind of get them started a couple months after that and start over again as well. If you recall, a few months ago, we did the presentation about the rescue resource. We've had to do some work on that apparatus, but our target is this weekend to have that resource in play. Just even some of the most recent incidents we've had the rescue coming from either St. Andrews or James Island and bypassing fire trucks that are St. John's fire trucks. So that's going to be a real asset to this Johns Island and for the entire district. But considering the amount of car accidents we have, that's going to be their bread and butter as well too. And that's those incidents are picking up as well as the weather gets nicer too. Now, the actual rescue we've ordered, we won't have until end of 2025. We've repurposed engine 5, which was set up like a rescue resource, but we've changed some equipment on that truck, and that's going to operate as our rescue resource in the interim as well. So we did want to let you know, apply for a couple different things. We applied for Kiowa has some state accommodations tax money available. So that's money when you stay at a hotel on Kiowa or you dine on Kiowa, that money goes into a pot and it's used to help things for tourism and public safety and all sorts of different things, promoting events too. We've made 2 requests there. One is money for a high water vehicle that we would dedicate to Kiowa Island, and then also some money for EMS delivery costs and personnel as well too. I'm not isolating that just to Kiowa. I've also been in discussions with Seabrook Island as well, and I've been had productive discussions with their mayor and also their town people that are making use of ARPA funds. ARPA funds was some Joe Biden stimulus money as well that were doled out to communities. We didn't receive any from Charleston County, so I'm trying to shake the trees at some other places as well too. But they've been receptive to that, and so those where we see kind of the 2 biggest issues are those 2 barrier islands, and the high water vehicle we have now has seen some better days. So it's time, and it's just one, and we've got kind of these islands. So before we kind of work on that from a capital standpoint, I'm going to shake some trees for some money as well too, and see what we produce. But I think that they're well warranted, and we can make a pretty good case for that as well too. Teresa, do you want to, before my last 2 things, do you want to give an HR report, please? Yes.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all again. One thing on the minutes, I was here last time. It's because I need to be on there as present. So we'll just add that. But we've had some great hires. We already mentioned Nathan, the assistant fire chief. Today, we had 1 certified firefighter to start in orientation. We've got on April 29th, 4 people, the 2 out of the graduating class. We had 2 graduates, which several of us went to the graduation week ago Friday. So they're coming on board. They're our employees, but they're coming on board with orientation on the 29th. And then we've got a certified firefighter from New Jersey and a local from James Island also starting over here. So we've got those filled, which is fantastic. Today started new orientation, just something I brought with me. I thought I'd put my little stamp on it from Disney and other places. So it was actually very nice. PowerPoint, a lot of nice binder. It was very organized and felt good about it. And I told him he was our guinea pig. So we took a lot of little notes along the way to make it better next time, but it went very well. And we've got 3 firefighters out on workers' comp. That's about it. Any questions? Thank you.
Last 2 things I have, we have you may have seen some emails for a promotional and award ceremony. It's something new we're doing. It's going to be April 20th at the Citadel. I'm hoping as many commissioners can join us. I know it's a difficult date for some people, but hard to find dates to get everybody, and then our staff and everybody as well too. But next year we're hoping that's more of a January, February time frame as well. So the only other thing I have, and if you want to discuss this now or in the building report, you can, is I discussed with the chairman a date of Wednesday, May 8th for a ribbon cutting at the new maintenance facility. I know I also talked to Ms. Lehman. She can't be here, but I want to make sure that's a date where we can get a large majority of the commission, and we'll do a light cake, refreshments.
Okay.
I was looking for the right word, and then a ribbon cutting, and we'll invite the people that are elected officials and also Choate Construction and things like that. And we feel hopefully the building will be done April 26th, and gives us a couple before we really dirty it up. Then we'll be it gives us a couple weeks to move some things in and stuff as well too, and then after the ribbon cutting, we'll fully utilize that building. So I throw that date out there. If that's good with everybody else, then we'll start making plans internally. That was a Wednesday, May 8th at 3 p.m. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know Sarah Weathers is here from Pope Flynn. We added to the agenda yesterday afternoon the resolution for our bonds, which you'll need for Charleston County Association. Explain that when we get to this.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. I wanted to start out and let you know the packet that was emailed last week was missing a few pages, but the one in front of you has everything. So I'm going to review the March financial report. To start, our budget is currently trending with savings at 28%. Our bank balances as of March 31st include our operating account at 16.8 million, our local government investment pool account at 12,600, our 2021 Go Bond account at 18,500, our 2022 Go Bond account at 85,600, and our 2023 Go Bond account at 1.8 million. In March, we collected our typical reimbursements for retiree premiums, and we also received $416,000 for our February collections from Charleston County. Also, our non-standard overtime for March was $70,000, which is a little higher than last month's. And then when you look at the dashboard, for the month of March, we see that the year-to-date operating expenditure is $14 million, and this includes encumbrances, and that staff efficiency was at 85%. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Danielle. I just wanted to include too, Ramona will be out for a little bit. She's having some surgery tomorrow, so keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She has a fairly significant procedure tomorrow, so yeah.
Capital plan and village increase.
Yeah, I think A and B is kind of one topic as well too. So Sarah, I don't know if you want to give a background on that, and then I believe you'll need a motion for approval for the
Yes,
resolution.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Weathers. I am with Pope Flynn. We're a law firm based out of Columbia. Certainly recognize some of you from our last bond issuance, but we have worked with the fire district previously. Our most recent one was in 2022. In 2022, we didn't have to go through this full process as we are this time. What you have before you tonight is a resolution petitioning Charleston County Council for authorization to issue $24.5 million worth of general obligation bonds, or GO bonds, as you'll hear them frequently called. The process for issuing the bonds is fairly long. So we're actually going before them this time asking for more money than what we plan to issue, what the financial advisors have suggested we issue in a given year. The $24.5 million just has to be issued over the course of 5 years. So what will happen is after tonight, I'm hoping that you will adopt the resolution that we have before you. And that will kick off the process at which we will first go to the Charleston County Finance Committee. And if it comes favorably out of the Finance Committee, it will then be given 3 readings and a public hearing at the county council level. And then once the county council authorizes the issuance of the general obligation debt, I will come back before you. I think right now the financing calendar is saying in August, and ask that you adopt a bond resolution. The bond resolution will be specific to the issuance of the particular bond. So it will have in it details about the exact project that you intend to fund with the bond proceeds. It will have redemption terms. It will have a range of interest rates and kind of prepayment details, those sort of the nitty-gritty contract of the bond. So what we're doing tonight is really the first step in the process. Your financial advisors have looked at your current millage and the estimated costs that they have received in conjunction with Ryan and staff to kind of come up with the preliminary numbers. And in running everything, it looks like there is the potential for a $1.5 million increase on the debt service. So this would not be an operations millage increase. This mill increase would go only to pay for the bonds. We have already talked to Matt Giles at the county and given him a heads up about that, projections are showing there'll be a need for a 1.5 mil increase. Chief was on the call. He kind of took it in stride and said, basically, yep, costs are going up with inflation. We're kind of seeing this across the board. He was not surprised that there would be a potential need for a millage increase. I'd also like to note this 24.5 million is within your 8% debt limit capacity. If you go beyond the 8% of your assessed value and outstanding general obligation bond, you are required to have a referendum. This is within your 8% limit. That is a limit that our legislators has set in the Constitution on what you are allowed to issue within your authorization. If you go beyond 8%, it has to have referendum approval. This is well within that 8% cap. I think the total cap was 28 is in my mind. Does that seem right, Chief? I can look at it and get back to you guys with that exact number, but we are well within that cap. So tonight, again, it's the resolution that I'm asking for adoption on. It would be a motion and then just a simple majority vote. But if you have any questions on the resolution or the process in general, I'm happy to speak to that.
Yeah, and before you vote, we had the meeting with Matt Guile. He was favorable to the increase as well, as Sarah stated, for the reasons why. And then I also sent this to Councilman Boykin and Councilwoman Honeycutt, excuse me, and talked with Councilman Boykin on the phone about it. And he was agreeable at least to the projects we've proposed and everything. Just want to add that.
I have a question. I've heard the term millage for 60 years. What is it?
Sure. So it interestingly enough comes from the French word for 1,000. And the way taxes are done in South Carolina are kind of very complicated. But let's say that you have a home that is worth $100,000. My home sits right next door. It's also worth $100,000. Your home is your primary rate. So it is taxed at 4%. So 4% on $100,000 would be $4,000. My home would be taxed at 6% because it is my vacation home. So mine is valued at $6,000. So let's say we're the only two homes in St. John's Fire District. You would then have an assessed value of $10,000. So then you would only be able to issue bonds within 8% of that. That would be your limit. So a mill is 1/1000th of that assessed value. So when you calculate what is a mill worth, it really is a moving target. It depends on what homes are valued at in the St. John's Fire District. It is valued at, how many new boats are there? That's why it's a moving target. And so the financial advisors say, we think it's going to be probably about 1.5 mils, but we really won't know until that given year comes and it's time to put on the millage. And what they do is they look at the assessed value of all the property, real and personal, in St. John's Fire District. And then they also look at what the debt service is on the bonds. And so they'll say, it looks like we need to, it's usually not much of a swing, usually like 1/10 of a mil is what it comes down to. They're very good at their jobs and really threading that needle of what they think it's going to be. And so then they look at everything and they say, this year we don't need to put on, quite the full 1.5. It might be, 1.3, let's say, give or take. But so the millage is what's used with your assessed value to produce the tax revenues that come to you guys.
Is that something we've been struggling with over the years?
Yeah, not for every property, but it does. So so when we looked at our next fiscal year's operating budget and said, we can do it without increase, they do give us a projection on what, because the value of the mill has increased for us as well too, just because of growth and the health of the district and things like that as well too. So so when we started this process for that fiscal year 26 budget, we said, well, we kind of need a target to aim at a little bit so they can provide projections on that as well. We get those.
And I actually was looking back at our materials. The last time we went before county council, I believe, was in 2020, I want to say. And it might have been 2019. But the last time we went before county council, we looked at your 10-year capital plan, and we knew that we would be doing this bond issuance in 24, 25. And we thought then it would result in a 1 mil increase. But though property values have gone up, inflation just has exceeded that. So instead of the 1 mil that we were hopeful for, 4 or 5 years ago, it instead is probably looking more like 1.5 mils. So, First Tryon is a very skilled group. I was, really right on target there with what we thought several years ago when we started this. And so what will happen is if approved, this will go through county council and they will approve the full tranche of $24.5 million. But what First Tryon has set forth is issuing the bonds in two sets. So it won't be one flood of $24.5 million, boom, day one. It will be the first set and then the second set. And when we issue the second set, we will do it within the fire district. We will not have to go back to Charleston County until we've exhausted this full $24.5 million. So it'll be a little more streamlined next time.
Do we have an idea what it's gonna cost average homeowner? Which I'm sure that's gonna be
That is a great question. Yeah, that is a great
all of us are
question.
gonna hear.
And that is something I know the financial advisors have prepared. I'm happy to look at that and I can get that information to you and you can send it out to the commissioners.
Yeah, they do some, depending like if your home was valued $500,000 or they can do kind of what that looks like as well too. And even looking at your own tax bill, sometimes you can kind of see what that looks like. And then, yeah, they've got kind of a convoluted projection. They do more numbers than I do. But
Yeah, I can be absolutely
Yeah.
sure we get that.
Say, what's this gonna cost us?
Yeah, and to be fair too, we haven't had it really we did an operating increase last year, but we haven't really had an increase to our debt side in a long time. So, yeah, I understand people's concern too, because everything is more expensive. But I think I've said to you all a lot too, it's getting expensive to run a fire department.
Yeah, if we can get
as well.
that, we can get that exact what it is, but it will depend on the value of that person's house, what their assessed value is of that house. But we can pull it up of what the new debt service millage will be all in on, we have different levels there and we can get that to you for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if this helps, but our right now is 4.1.
Yes.
So with the 1.5 increase, it would go up to 5.6.
Yes. And so then it'll be like whatever the assessed value is times that. So we can get those.
I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. Yep. Right.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Yeah. Absolutely.
Where the petition reimburse the petition.
Yes.
Because
Yes, that is. So that is, and it probably it might have been a standalone resolution previously. And so it's the commission authorizing the reimbursement. If there are expenses that happen before the bond proceeds hits the actual accounts of the district. So I think the bond is set to close on September 17th right now. So the fire district will not have the bond proceeds in hand until September 17th. But if people wanted to get stuff rolling with, engineering costs, construction costs, some of those preliminary things, a lot of times these days we're having people put in advance orders on a fire truck, like a down payment. You are now authorizing when the bond proceeds hit in September to pay the district back. So the district basically would be floating it from their operation millage until we get the bond proceeds. And then when the bond proceeds come back, you would repay the operation side from the bond proceeds. So that's what that's authorizing. If there's a need to go ahead and hire engineers or, buy some equipment or something before the proceeds of the bond are available. And it's an IRS tax thing is why we have that language in there.
Okay, I will read the resolution and then I will ask for a motion to adopt it. This is a consideration for adoption of a resolution approving the incurring of general obligation debt in an amount not exceeding $24,500,000, declaring the intent of the St. John's Fire Commission to reimburse the St. John's Fire District with the proceeds of such obligations, and authorizing a petition to the County Council of Charleston County pursuant to Section 6-11-830 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina, 1976, as amended. Can I get a motion to adopt this resolution? So
Second.
moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstained? Motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Committee reports. Building committee. We had a building committee meeting this past Monday, a week ago, at the site of the new maintenance building construction. It's going quite well and continues to be on track to be finished officially by April 26th, which is just around the corner. We've still got some final painting to do. There was a little holdup with getting the power turned on in the building, but that now has been turned on. So things are operating, and we'll have our next building committee meeting at the site on April 24th at 10 o'clock. I believe that's a Wednesday.
It is.
Okay. So at that time, the commissioners that are there will do a walkthrough inspection to satisfy us, hopefully. So that's it on the building on that project. We still are waiting for things to happen from the county with Kiowa River. Hopefully, we're in the works to get that land moved over to us for 99-year lease or whatever. And we're ready to go with getting a selection of an architect to start to design that. But that, of course, can't happen until we get the lease taken care of. All right, Finance Committee.
Okay, on March 19th, we had a combined finance and strategic planning meeting. On the finance side, we approved the 2025 budget. And then we did discuss some of the projects, and I'll let Ike go into a little more detail, but for this high-level bond funding. So now that Sarah went over that, you can see that once we talked about some of the projects that we approved to go forward, it wasn't quite this amount, but sounds good from what I can see our draft. And we did not schedule another finance meeting.
Any questions for finance? Human resources, Steve?
We did not have a meeting, however, we will be scheduling a meeting, upcoming meeting for the next few weeks. We hope to bring that in.
Strategic planning? Any firefighter comments?
I guess I'm still a firefighter, right, in some capacity, but I did want to, on behalf of the personnel of St. John's Fire District, thank the commission for their approval of this capital funding. It's a significant amount of money. That's not lost on me, but these projects will be kind of a long-term commitment to the residents of St. John's, particularly, you know, how I feel about the training facility, and our personnel feel about the training facility. They're really excited about it. So again, wanted to thank the commission on behalf of everybody, and for your continued support.
Thank you. Commissioner comments. Deb? Steve?
Stay safe.
Jackie?
Thanks to everybody in the district, also the crews, like the chief said, on the fire we had. By me living on the island, I have seen the trucks up and down the road, like you said, with a lot of calls. Just pass on to the guys. Great job, and keep up the good work.
Mike?
Yeah.
Brooks?
Coming up, training, buildings and all that stuff. I'm glad we're able to fund it. Keep this forward.
Okay.
Good job.
Bob?
But just, second, which is comment that we're on. We'll think about it. If maybe we can use it for services.
Okay. Leroy?
We'll go. We'll go, well, whether within, package is increasing. Everyone going to lunch, waiting before I get stuck. I'm trying to go in the left, all right. You see. What that for?
Okay. Thank you. And I have no comments. Can I get a motion to go to executive session to discuss personnel and contractual matters? Second, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, we will adjourn to executive session.
the chiefs.
Wait,
Yeah,
you did?
sorry,
We need a mic.
barely took the other two
Oh,
out.
that's right.
So you can use that one.
Okay.
You can use this.
Gotta get back.
They took them all away.
St. John's Fire Commission is back in regular session. Are there any motions?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion for a 6% salary increase for Chief Kunitzer, retroactive to January of 2024,
January 1st.
January 1st, 2024.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed.